Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a quick look here at Terra Classic, seeing what's going on. Quickly want to congratulate our community members for some phenomenal profits there. Actually from Terra Classic, 108%, 190% there from Gala, and then of course some shorter term trades there with KNC. That's a 30% long, and Uniswap 26% short. So again, congrats to our community members for that. We also had some pretty awesome scalping trades there from our day trading group, so congrats there as well. But the main reason why I want to talk about Terra Classic isn't because I get a lot of requests for it, mainly because it's surging and appearing to be back on track. We got to see if it's going to be able to hold, or if it's going to pull back to some of these levels here that we're seeing here on the screen. So if you're new to the channel, just know I'm not a financial advisor. I love to teach people to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site. Link down below where you can learn to become, well, just a little more consistent. Most of our members are finding nice consistency there with the trading community, so really happy that's working well for you. Oh, very last thing too, Bitunix, phenomenal, no KYC, no VPN exchange. If you want to claim this exclusive benefit, use my link to register. If you've already registered with my link, then you're automatically eligible. You just got to trade with futures. Really simple as that. Single trade on futures, you're good to go. Okay, so Terra Classic, what we want to look at here is on the daily. Again, the last few days have been very, very bullish. We can see the RSI up over 70, and we can also see the money flow increasing extremely high. That's a fantastic sign. We need to see more money flowing into this coin in order for it to continue to break out. Now, when we take a look at the MACD, super strong here as well. There's really nothing that's going to tell us it's bearish on the daily. Okay. Ideally, what we want to do is mark out some specific key level supports and resistances. I put a previous daily close here from a few months back at about, what, I'm just going to approximate about 11,000 is the rough estimate for that support level. Okay, so that just kind of reaffirms the fact that we could see the price action average itself out above that level. We should be in good shape to continue higher. Okay, oftentimes previous resistances turn into new support. That's not a definitive line in the sand here, of course, but it is absolutely something to pay attention to. We can look at some weekly closes as well and see if that's the case. And coincidentally, we also got a weekly close right at that level too. Okay, so just some important stuff to kind of recognize there. Those things do tend to factor in a lot of times. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the 4-hour time frame, because this gives us more definitive information rather, because it's using smaller time frames and larger time frames. Basically, it's like transitional time frames. Okay, in other words, what happens on the 1 hour translates to the 4 hour, 4 hour to the daily, etc. It kind of works its way up, and you can see more patterns and more time frame specific situations with the 4 hour time frame, because it really helps us understand kind of where we're at. All right, so again, it's primarily my favorite time frame for swing trading, which is something I do consistently. We take a look at the RSI. We can see the RSI is coming back down a little bit. Money flow index is still quite high, so do not be concerned with the money flow index coming down here. It's an average of the last 14 candles, so it's going to do something like that, performs like that very consistently. What we want to pay attention to, though, is the amount of volume in this most recent situation here, or time frame. So if we exclude, just say, the most recent average range, which the price action was averaging itself out there at about 7,500 for a while, we take a look at here, the most recent time frame, we can kind of acknowledge that roughly there at about 10,000 even, upwards of 11,800 are two support and resistance levels based on volume. Okay, so the fact that we have this much amount of volume, almost the same amount of volume up here as we do previously, is a really good sign, because it tells us that we could be able to sustain this price point with so much volume at that higher price. Okay, now it doesn't necessarily mean the price is going to shoot up because of it, right? But you build a volume base at any level, and you're going to have more support and resistance there. Keep in mind, we start trailing off a little lower. We'll have to build more volume profile here and essentially consolidate, but the key takeaway here is that that's not definitive. That's not going to tell us a heck of a lot, but it's a nice consolation. What also is important too is recognize previous liquidity gaps and fair value gaps and previous liquidity levels. We can see this previous liquidity level has already been swept. We got a new fair value gap here as low as about 10,250, and then alternately as well, same thing as well here down below with about 8,200 upwards of 9,200. Okay, so fair value gaps are interesting. A lot of times the price will wick into them and then continue on its way. Sometimes it'll fill it completely and continue. But for the most part, you typically see a partial fill. What we're seeing here as well, the price wicked down to this previous close, wicked down and jumped. So right there at 11,000, that kind of reaffirms that somewhat of a support level is there. Furthermore, too, we also want to take a look at Elliott Wave and recognize that 0.382, 0.5, 0.618 are common Fibonacci retracement levels. So these are the three potential areas we could see the price come down to. Now, if the price were to pull back to this level, it would make the most sense. 0.5 is the most commonly retraced area. Coincidentally, we have the most amount of volume there if you exclude this lower region. So, truth be told, to me, I think along at just say about 9,800 and or 10,000 would seem relatively appropriate. Okay, I'm going to set an alert here at the rough estimate of 10,000, just a little over 10,000, to kind of see if it might be worth considering along at that point. Again, you got to recognize when I set these alerts, I come back and reevaluate everything. I don't just jump in blindly because I set the alert. Okay? Please note that. That said, though, those are the 3 areas I would be focusing on as potential interesting areas to consider an entry. The last thing we want to take a look at would be TD sequential and just recognize if we are overextended, which we kind of are, but technically we should have got a reset right there because it was just a period of consolidation. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 candles, we are continuing upwards, 10 candles in a row, we are overextended. However, we got a period of consolidation right here, so this literally could be our first 3 candles or first 12 hours of a 36-hour continuation. So when I see things like this, I do not consider shorting. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is not shorting this coin. And I know it seems crazy because so many people out there are doing that at 150x, and they're sharing that on Twitter, Telegram, and whatever, and they're showing you how awesome they are. While I also showed you how awesome our community is, that was a low leverage, safe trade. Okay, this doesn't seem like a safe trade to take a short right now. Again, I hope I'm wrong and the price goes down so you can get a better entry, or perhaps you have a short open and it hits your targets. I'd be fine by that. I'm just saying that me personally, this isn't the kind of coin I like to trade when it's overextended because it continues to run in most cases. Now that we're over this previous resistance level, I'm going to respect that level as potential support and anticipate that that's probably going to be the lowest point for now. Again, totally could be wrong. Most cases, situations like this, I'm right. But again, on the rare occasions that it's not, feel free to, you're welcome to say, I told you so. It happens all the time. It's funny. A lot of know-it-alls online after the fact. But you got to understand too, this coin, heavily manipulated. There's a lot of, whales trading this coin. It's not people like you and I. And you got to understand, they're very greedy. They're going to continue to push it. And what else are they going to do when there's levels of liquidity above the price action or below? You got to recognize this previous liquidity level was swept, and what do you know? Almost exactly that's that 11,000 range. The price wicked up to, came back to hit it, comes down to retest it, and this should work as a new support. Yeah, that's usually how things should work out. Let's take a quick look at the Ichimoku Cloud and kind of confirm. This is telling us that you do not want to close your long position. There's absolutely no reason to take a short. If the price drops below this level, then our lagging span would be intersecting the price action. That would be a consideration to take some profit. We're not quite there yet, even though this candle right here is looking pretty aggressive, right? So again, a lot of different strategies, a lot of different scenarios, but to me, this appears to be a potential support level. Between that, 0.382 and 0.5, I think these 3 ranges here, we could very well see a potential bounce. Okay? There is potential for 0.618, but that's less likely considering how this support range here based on volume. All right, folks, I hope that you learned something here today. And obviously, if you didn't, that's okay. Perhaps another video will speak to you. Comment below, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and follow if you could, please. And obviously, we'll see you on the other side. I hope this works out for you. But take a look at this here. Nosedive. Here we go. Come on, baby. We'll see if this level holds. Again, the level has to hold based on the closure, right? So you got to understand, too, this candlestick still has a few minutes left in it, and it hasn't officially closed yet. So we'll definitely see what happens. I'm excited to see that. Thanks again for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.